In a stunning turn of events that nobody saw coming, millions of Social Security beneficiaries just received news that's sending shockwaves through the entire disability and retirement community. We're talking about a surprise mid-year increase that's about to hit bank accounts across America, and it's happening much sooner than anyone expected. If you're one of the 65 million Americans receiving Social Security benefits, SSDI or SSI payments, you'll want to pay very close attention to what I'm about to share, because this could mean hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket starting next month. The most shocking part? This isn't your regular cost of living adjustment. This is something entirely different. And it's happening because of a perfect storm of economic factors that forced the Social Security Administration to take unprecedented action. Before we dive into all the details about this game-changing increase, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button below. Also, ring that notification bell so you never miss out on critical updates about your benefits. I'm working hard to bring you the latest Social Security news as it happens, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's get right to the numbers everyone's asking about. Starting in October 2025, SSI and SSDI recipients will see an additional 2.8% increase in their monthly checks. This is completely separate from the regular COLA adjustment we're expecting in January. For the average SSDI recipient currently receiving $1,483 per month, this means an extra $41.52 in their monthly payment. SSI recipients currently getting the federal maximum of $943 will see their benefits jump by about $26.40 per month. But here's where things get really interesting, and this is something most news outlets aren't talking about. This mid-year adjustment isn't just a one-time bump. The increase will become part of your base benefit amount, meaning it will compound with any future cost of living adjustments. Think about that for a moment. Every future increase you receive will be calculated on top of this new higher amount. Now, you might be wondering, why is this happening now? What made the Social Security Administration break from their usual once-a-year adjustment pattern? Well, the answer lies in a perfect storm of economic factors that forced their hand. Remember that massive spending bill that passed through Congress last spring? Buried deep within its 2,700 pages was a provision that gave the Social Security Administration new flexibility to implement mid-year adjustments when certain economic triggers are met. Those triggers? They're directly tied to something called the Consumer Price Index for Urban Wage Earners and Clerical Workers, or CPIW. When this index shows sustained inflation in certain essential categories, particularly housing, medical care, and food, for 3 consecutive months, it can now prompt an emergency adjustment. And that's exactly what happened in the summer of 2025. But here's something crucial you need to know. And this is where many beneficiaries might miss out if they're not careful. The increase isn't automatic for everyone. Yes, you heard that right. While most beneficiaries will see the adjustment automatically reflected in their October payment, there's a small subset of recipients who'll need to take action to ensure they receive the full increase. Who needs to take action? This primarily affects people who've had certain changes in their situation during the past year. If you've moved to a different state, changed your living arrangements, or had significant changes in other income sources, you might need to contact Social Security to ensure your increase is properly calculated. I'll explain exactly how to do that in just a moment. First, though, let's break down how this increase will affect different categories of beneficiaries, because it's not quite as straightforward as it might seem. The 2.8% increase will be applied slightly differently depending on whether you receive SSI, SSDI, or regular retirement benefits. For SSDI recipients, the increase applies to your primary insurance amount, or PIA. For SSI recipients, it applies to both the federal payment and, in some cases, state supplementary payments, though this varies by state. Speaking of state variations, this is where things get really interesting. Several states have already announced that they'll be matching or supplementing this federal increase with additional state funds. California, for instance, is adding an extra 0.5% to the federal increase for SSI recipients. New York and Massachusetts are implementing similar supplements, though the exact amounts vary. Now, let's talk about timing, because this is crucial. The increase will first appear in October 2025 Social Security payments. For SSI recipients, that means you'll see the increase in your September 29th payment, since SSI payments are made on the last business day of the previous month. For SSDI and retirement beneficiaries, you'll see the increase in your regular October payment depending on your payment date schedule. But here's something many people don't realize. The increase is actually retroactive to July 2025. This means you'll also receive a one-time payment to cover the difference for July, August, and September. For most beneficiaries, this retroactive payment will arrive as a separate deposit about a week after your regular October payment. Let's pause for a moment and consider what this means for the average beneficiary. If you're receiving SSDI at the average amount of $1,483, your retroactive payment would be about $124.56. That's the $41.52 monthly increase multiplied by 3 months. Not a bad unexpected bonus, right? But here's where you need to be careful, and this is something I can't stress enough. This retroactive payment could affect other benefits you might be receiving, particularly if you're on SSI or if you receive means-tested benefits like Medicaid or SNAP. The Social Security Administration is treating this as regular income, not as a special one-time payment. This means you need to report it to any other benefit programs you participate in. Now, let's talk about what you need to do to prepare for this increase. First and foremost, mark your calendar for September 15, 2025. That's when the Social Security Administration will begin sending out official notices about the increase. These notices will detail exactly how much your new payment will be and when you can expect to receive it. But don't just wait for that notice to arrive. There are several steps you can take right now to ensure everything goes smoothly. First, log into your My Social Security account and make sure all your information is up to date. Check your address, your direct deposit information, and your contact details. If anything needs updating, do it now. Don't wait until the last minute. Here's something else to consider. If you're currently working while receiving benefits, this increase could affect your earnings limit calculations. The earnings limits themselves aren't changing, but your new benefit amount might change how close you are to those limits. Take some time to review your earnings for the year so far and adjust your work schedule if needed. Let's talk about another aspect that's flying under the radar: the impact on Medicare premiums. While the increase itself is good news, there's a potential catch that affects Medicare beneficiaries. The standard Medicare Part B premium is scheduled for its annual adjustment in January 2026, and early projections suggest a significant increase. This mid-year Social Security increase could help cushion the blow of those higher Medicare premiums. Now, I can hear some of you asking, but what about inflation? Won't this increase just get eaten up by rising prices? That's a valid concern, and it's partly why this mid-year adjustment is happening in the first place. The Social Security Administration's new flexibility to make mid-year adjustments is specifically designed to help benefits keep pace with inflation more effectively than the annual COLA alone. Speaking of the annual COLA, here's something fascinating to consider. This mid-year increase doesn't affect the regular COLA calculation for January 2026. That adjustment will still be calculated based on the standard formula using third-quarter CPIW data. Early projections suggest we could be looking at another significant increase in January, potentially in the 3% range. Combined with this mid-year adjustment, that could mean a total increase of nearly 6% over 6 months.